private detective the size of a Volkswagen Bug, you need...
Cannon.
Yes.
Starring William Conrad.
He's enormous.
With guest star Anthony Zerbe.
Wow.
Special guest star
Drew
Donna
Brees.
Winter. Tonight's episode, Catch Me If You Can.
Hey, Cannon, your next sitcom was called Jake and the Fat Man, and you weren't Jake. So, Catch Me If You Can, probably not the best name of an episode. I can catch William Conrad with my walker rolling the oxygen tank next to it while Conrad's at a full sprint. I don't recommend a full sprint right now unless it's indoors and it's 72 degrees, some indoor facility, because it's 98 degrees outside right now. The thermometer, 98 degrees. Feels like 109. Feels like 109. Jeez, Pizza Parlor, Greg Brady. We're going to stay up past 8:30. This is crazy. 98 degrees in New Orleans. We rarely hit 98. I mean, I would say once or twice every few summers. What, about every 5 years? We might have a couple of days where we hit 98. Been hitting 96 and 97 the last few days. Just hit 98 degrees a little while ago. And like I said, feels like 109. What can I tell you? Stay hydrated. Lots of water, agua, H2O, lots of fluids over and over and over again, especially if you're outside. When I was a kid, my aunt used to say, drink a lot of water. It gives your kidneys a bath. It makes sense. Flush them out. Lots of water. Plus hydrate the system, the skin, all of that. Hey, ladies, for beautiful skin, it's supposedly lots of water. I'm done. I'm waiting on the next invention. I got wrinkly forehead, the crow's feet. I'm sitting out in the sun as a kid. Lifeguarding, swimming, outdoor activities. Never, ever any block. Never owned block until like a decade or two ago. Never had block as a kid. I don't know if there was a thing called block as a kid. The highest number might have been like a 16 back then. You put like some zinc oxide out of a tube on your nose, maybe. That was about it. And that rarely happened. Just got torched. I remember one guy, Meg Farris, who's on Channel 4. Meg Farris, her father, Dr. Charles Farris, in the summertime, especially during outdoor activity, he would wear a long sleeve shirt. Now, back then, it was a long sleeve cotton shirt. He'd usually have like a undershirt under that shirt. Alan Toussaint always wore silk long johns. In the summertime, if he pulled up his pants leg of his suit, he'd have on some fancy socks, most likely sandals with the fancy socks. And then you could see the long johns hanging over the socks or tucked into the socks. 24/7, 365, doesn't matter if it's 98 degrees, feels like 109. I've had a couple of skin cancers removed from my face, one from my shoulder just a few months ago. I don't know. When I play golf, when I go into any outdoor activity, I would buy the hat that the ladies wear in Gone with the Wind, excuse me. I would wear that sombrero you put on a table, that you put ice in it and put beer in it or food, the one that's like 5 feet across. I would wear that on the golf course, or the Gone with the Wind ladies hat to keep the sun off my face. And I do. I wear those big floppy hats where, I look like a little girl, and I don't care. You get skin cancer, cut off your face a few times, you wear the floppy hat looking like a little girl. And I wear a long sleeve shirt most of the time during the summer if I'm playing golf, playing tennis, doing any kind of landscaping outdoors, long sleeves. And then I put on a mineral sunblock that doesn't soak into the skin, stays on top of the skin, and just face, neck, anywhere that's exposed, and still get torched. It's New Orleans, man. We're the northern part of the subtropic zone. We get a lot of sun. Anyway, be careful out there today because it is ridiculous, and it's going to continue for the next few days. Highs of like 97, 98. Feels like temperatures of 108, 110, 112, even 115. It is 98, feels like 109 right now. Boy, Channel 6 investigative reporter Cassie Sherm does a great job. She says the OIG, the Office of Inspector General, first off, she said they're investigating the Orleans Parish Communications District Office or agency or entity, whatever you want to call it. She now says the OIG's office has seized cell phones and computers from the OPCD. It's all about those altered documents. The shenanigans we put up with in this city. Just painfully mediocre people like Tyrell Morris. It's like the mayor. I hate when people say things like the mayor's stupid, the mayor's dumb. I don't know why, like, what isn't enough. You have to embellish, exaggerate, lie, go in another direction to make the real point that's valid and real. Try to even pound that in more, make it more valid, more real with things that aren't necessarily valid or real or fact-based, more opinion-based. And if they are fact-based, they're wrong. I mean, the mayor's educated. Mayor went to Xavier, has a degree. The mayor is not stupid. But a college degree doesn't make the mayor smart or street smart or savvy and no, that's the problem with Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Just painfully average. Not a leader, not someone who's special, not a change agent, not a difference maker, just painfully average. Tyrell Morris is another one of those painfully average people. Cedric Grant, you remember that guy used to run the sewage and water board, and it's kind of like John Ilario, one of John Ilario's kids, the one who's bounced on like 4 or 5 state boards and commissions, all different, has expertise in none of it. It's like that with Cedric Grant. He's been on like every board, commission, appointed, anointed spot in New Orleans city government for decades. Now he's retired after his final gig, the Sewage and Water Board, which upped his retirement to $180,000 a year. It's amazing there are New Orleanians that worked in New Orleans city government, you know, the Hugo plant, producing crap. During this era, the last 40 years, like the John Ilario era, and they're pulling $180,000 in retirement. What's wrong with this picture? I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's like this A-Bear guy with the Sewage and Water Board stealing, pilfering money, more than doubling, like tripling his salary with BS overtime. He gets the back pay. He gets reinstated. He gets promoted. There are no repercussions. Crime, white collar, blue collar. In New Orleans, crime pays. Ask Irvin Mayfield Jr. $1.3 million stolen from the libraries of Orleans Parish from essentially inner city black kids. $1.3 million. He spent less than 8 months at a country club prison on a military base in Pensacola at Eglin. And then 3 months in a halfway house. 11 months of easy time. Anyone could do. $1.3 million. There's a lot of people that would do easy time. I'll get in shape. I'll read some books. I'll better myself. I'll do a lot of introspection. That's 6 months in Pensacola. Do some things I never would do in my life. And then the 3 months in the halfway house, and I walk out and there's $1.3 million in my bank account. You're kidding, right? You pull 5% of that money the rest of your life, you're making $70K a year on that. Yeah, that crime pays in New Orleans. Ghassan Korban's joining us next. He's with the Sewage and Water Board, the executive director. I think a straight shooter. I think a legitimate guy. Payroll fraud, sex tape, this A-Bear guy. How many others? Ghassan Korban next, executive director, Sewage and Water Board. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
River Cities. Total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. 98 degrees, feels like 109. This is rare for us. Doesn't happen often. It's hot and humid here, but not like this. So stay inside, stay in air conditioning if you can, at least the shade, and stay hydrated, lots of water. Ghassan Korban joins us again on the program, Executive Director, Sewage and Water Board. Ghassan, how are you?
I'm okay, Corey. I feel like I need a chair in your office or in your studio. I'm becoming a regular on your show.
Yeah, you're pretty close. I think Rafael Goyeneche from the Metropolitan Crime Commission's got you beat by a little bit.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put him on payroll. But not really good because it's about crime problem. And then having you on, I love having you on to talk about, like, the solutions and mention, like, a golf course lowers its retention ponds before the water comes. So you're pumping out of the ponds, not the golf course. We still pump out of the golf course. We pump streets and neighborhoods instead of retention ponds. I love talking about that stuff normally, Ghassan.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Just wanted to kind of maybe share quickly that you just talked about the weather and the high temperatures, and I want to tell you that that's taking a toll on our system. A lot of buildings use chillers to cool their buildings off, and chillers consume lots of water, and obviously the demand is high. We have because of the Essence fence, a huge number of visitors and guests in the city, which is awesome. But that obviously puts higher demand on our system. So coupled with the fact that we have an emergency work on a 50-inch feeder main, which is one of the largest mains we have, it's all attributing to some challenges across the city with some low pressures. So we're asking people to be patient, and maybe if there's a way to reduce consumption and help us out and help everybody out, that would be awesome.
No, that's a great call. So keep consumption down in Orleans Parish if you can, because of the stress on the system from Essence Fest and all the visitors, and coupled with the heat.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, those 50-inch pipes, those are the big black plastic pipes that are like 4 or 5 inches thick that we see on Claiborne in between Jefferson and Napoleon right now, and what we saw over there on Leonidas and Claiborne earlier.
Yeah, that was a 42-inch, so the one we're working on is in the ground, and it's 50-inch. It's even larger than the one you saw.
Those are drainage, right?
Those are feeder mains, water mains, potable water.
Wow.
Yeah, so these are the ones that run water from the plant all the way to the extremities of the city, the Venetian Isles and what have you. So
they're huge.
They're huge. And then it's like a picture of freeway, and then you have the distribution mains feeding off those big feeder mains.
That gets smaller, I guess.
It gets smaller, and it just got... basically the network is tied to these feeder mains.
So the main pipe's the big black ones.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gigantic. And that cutting machine that cuts them, it's incredible.
Yep. So it's not only shaving the edges or the ends of each pipe, so it's fusing them together.
Wow.
So it's a seamless.
Wow.
To reduce the friction inside the pipe and increase the hydraulics of those pipes.
Why do I have a feeling you can't go down to the Lowe's or Ace Hardware and pick up those pipes?
Because you can't. Yeah, those are very, very unique pipes. We call them HDPE, high density polyurethane pipes that made from obviously high density plastic, and they last forever.
Ghassan Korban's with us, Executive Director, Sewage and Water Board. Ghassan, you have a pal in Milwaukee or something you talk to? He's like, wow, man, what a headline. Payroll, fraud, and sex room. What's going on down there in New Orleans? What a headline, huh? Payroll, fraud, and sex room.
So what I tell them, that obviously don't believe everything you read, and that it was probably by far the most salacious headline that you can a writer or a reporter can dream of. And it really came from one source, one employee who no longer is with us, made one allegation, and it just spread like wildfire because people like, unfortunately, these nature stories, and they have the appetite for it.
Well, we know the payroll fraud is true. You're talking about the sex room thing.
Yes. The payroll fraud was a legitimate story, and what really wasn't made it clear enough is that happened back in 2019, and we caught it. I mean, we are changing the way things were happening when we took over, and there were some systematic situations that were challenging and problematic. And when we encountered a case like that, a fraud and cheating on your overtime, we not only held the person responsible, we also changed the policy and we added safeguards to prevent and minimize abuse. People will always, unfortunately, few people here and there will always find a way to cheat, and we'll do whatever we can to prevent that from happening. So, 4 years later, new policies, no cases of, evidence of abuse, and then we have a story that you're dealing with because of when the negotiation of a lawsuit or conclusion of a lawsuit happened, which was earlier this year in 2023. So kind of unearthing an old story. And again, it's, we spend a lot of time with the reporter talking about facts, and we are in a much better place today than we were before. However, over time continues to be an issue because we don't have the expertise. We don't have enough people to hire to minimize the overtime. So we're relying on smaller pool of expertise to do critical work for us, such as making sure the quality of the drinking water is, up to standard and worthy of our customers.
Yeah, I think what's frustrating to folks like this Herbert guy, double dipping, not working, getting paid overtime. He gets back pay. He gets reinstated. He gets promoted. It's sickening. People are like, crime does pay. The people stealing the brass a few years ago. There's just a lot of stories. It's a New Orleans thing, not just Sewage and Water Board. But Ghassan, who has been fired from the Sewage and Water Board? Can you name a single employee that's been fired?
So the person you just named is no longer with us. He was fired.
But he walked with all the money in his pension, though, right?
So the pension, by law, there's been case law throughout the country, not just us. Pension is a right. You earn your pension, and whatever cause it is that caused you to leave your employment,
you still get the pension. You could murder someone, you still get, because you paid into that.
And this gentleman was not reinstated for purposes of employment to bring him back. He was reinstated by rule, by law, to allow him to sign some papers for his benefits. So it was a momentarily situation, not even a day's worth of reinstatement for the purpose of that.
It just people would like to see that Herbert guy go to jail for what he did. It just doesn't. It seems like you can steal at the Sewage and Water Board, and there aren't repercussions where at least you're not going to jail.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. And there's a case that's just happening as we speak, and I'm not going to share the name, but there's a huge story today relative to one of our ex-employees that ultimately will be made whole. Will be made whole through restitution from that employee that wronged us. So maybe we'll talk about him at a later date because the story is too fresh and I don't have all the details. But to make your point and agree with it, that if there's a way to hold these employees accountable and at least keep them, an equivalent amount of money that they stole from us and not pay them is the way we're moving forward with. So we just had a meeting with my executive team to make sure that that policy is enforced and nobody walks off with a payment if we feel that they wronged us and they owe us money. So moving forward, we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen.
And also, Ghassan, the sex room doesn't exist, you're saying?
Does not exist. There was I'm going to call it a mini break room. We have zero evidence that it was used for anything but people just, taking a break there. It was not.
What about the photos on the wall?
So I believe that they may have been staged for the purpose of the video.
To shoot the video. Gotcha.
I have no idea, to be honest with you, where they came from. We've never seen them. I've had a lot of investigators, combing the facilities, and that room was dismantled because it was not commissioned or approved way back in September of last year with an unrelated matter. So it was not approved, and it was dismantled. And so again, another old story, and the allegations that were made by one person is becoming the story, unfortunately.
Right. And maybe even
what they read.
Maybe even a disgruntled employee.
Certainly was.
Yeah.
No longer with us.
Hey, so safe to say, things that happened before you that you've discovered: brass being stolen, payroll fraud, handicap plates, the parking thing downtown. All these things have been corrected. They're being monitored, and you don't expect any of this to happen again.
Well, we hope not. We're adding safeguards every day. We're improving processes. I can safeguard against one individual who wants to do wrong.
Right.
But
I get it.
The culture and the expectations of accountability is definitely at its highest level that I believe the utility has been for a while.
No, the change in culture and accountability, that's what people want to hear. Ghassan, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Corey. Have a nice day.
You too. Ghassan Korban, Executive Director, Sewage and Water Board, joining us. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitive prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer. For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Ghassan Korban just joined us from the Sewage and Water Board. You can check that out on YouTube right now if you want to. If you missed it. Coming up in about 30 minutes, Acy Cooper, the president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association, is going to join us. Louisiana shrimp industry under attack. You know, I'm like everybody else, most folks. I mean, there's some folks that are zealots about it. There's some folks that wrap themselves in the flag that think they're more into it than you. But, I mean, we all live in America, except for the hardcore right and left. Everybody believes in capitalism and is into it. Are there folks that aren't, that more socialist-oriented? Yeah. Very few and not a large percentage and not where folks are jumping on board that bandwagon. So I'm a capitalist like most folks, just trying to make money. I'm not into tariffs and high taxes and big government. And with all that said, I don't say, yes, let's do it. But boy, if I were the governor or I were a legislator, I would be looking into it and studying it. And what am I talking about? Like banning any kind of seafood imports of products we already have. Like live Maine lobster, bring them in. Dover sole, bring it in. Some kind of brook trout from Idaho or something, bring it in. But crab meat from China, any kind of crab product, I would be. I'm not saying I would. I'm thinking about it. It's anti-capitalism, but like banning those products, banning crawfish imports, banning shrimp imports. It's just sad. I guess in Maine, somewhere they sell those small lobsters frozen from Argentina, I guess, somewhere in Maine, and someone's buying them, I guess, because they're cheaper than a Maine lobster, I guess. Could that be possible? Or are there no like Argentine lobster tails frozen sold in Maine? Because there's a hell of a lot of crawfish and shrimp and trout, speckled trout or flounder, snapper, fish substitutes like tilapia, farm-raised fish, like it could be redfish from Texas. It could be catfish from Mississippi. Inferior, dangerous. I mean, my God, the Chinese messed up sheetrock. It's like it's messing up like a cinder block. Messed up sheetrock, made sheetrock a danger to human beings' health. Sheetrock. So an animal, a live being, a shrimp, a creature, yeah, they can screw that up. Mercury, whatever. What they feed it, let's make it grow fast. I don't want to eat any pasteurized crab meat. Corey, when I got my au gratin sauce, you can't tell if it's Louisiana tails or from China. Yeah, I can. A bunch of flavorless, uniform shape, knuckle size, fatless, chewy, gummy Chinese crawfish tails. Yeah, I can tell the difference between fresh Louisiana tails, all different shapes and sizes, full of fat and flavor. Yeah, I can tell the difference. It's like I can't tell the difference between a Creole tomato and a regular tomato. Do the Pepsi challenge any day of the week on any of those things. No, Acy Cooper is going to join us from the Louisiana Shrimp Association. I mean, I don't want to say I don't get it, because I do get it. I do. I don't want to say I do well. I do pretty good in life. I make a decent amount of money. I'm single. Don't have kids. Don't have a lot of responsibility with my money except for myself and, you know, whatever I want to do with it, basically. So I guess I have the luxury. I'm not feeding a family of 5. You know, they love crawfish etouffee. It's either don't have it or buy the Chinese tails. I'm never in that position. So I'm not saying I don't get it. I get it. Things are less expensive. But one side of me doesn't get it, where I'm just going to eat a highly inferior product. I don't know. I see it in the crawfish case in the store. It'll be 90% Chinese tails for like $5.99 a pound. Frozen, caught and processed, who knows when. What's in the crawfish, who knows. 90% of the case, Chinese frozen crawfish, $5.99 a pound. And then a few dozen pounds of fresh local crawfish at $13.99 a pound. Like 2.5 times, more than double. Louisiana crawfish tails per pound compared to Chinese crawfish tails, Taiwanese tails, whatever, are always more than double. More than double. 2.5, sometimes 3 times the cost. And it's like when I'm talking about Friend and Company fine jewelers. Man-made diamonds and, you know, real diamonds. 3-week-old lab-created diamonds or billion-year-old diamonds. Flavorless crawfish, you don't know what they were fed, how they were processed, when they were processed. Were they frozen, got not frozen, frozen again? I mean, does anyone care? Or local fresh product. I mean, it's a no-brainer. We live in the number one seafood spot in the world. Arguably in the world. We've got everything fresh, local, right off the dock, right there. I don't eat that other stuff. Never will, never do, never. No exceptions. Don't want it. Why would I want it? You know, it's another sinful thing going on. These jokers that in Louisiana that participate because there's money involved. They're bringing in Chinese crawfish and then they label them like Bernards to make it sound like it's Cajun, like it's a local product. And you got to hunt for where it's from. Made in where? Oh, made in China. Wow, this isn't local fresh crawfish. This isn't Bernards per se. No, they're trying to fool you. I remember when crawfish first came in, the Chinese tails like 30 years ago, it was Chinese writing all over the bag. They might add some sticker that made it legal, like 16 ounces or something like that. I mean, it was a joke. And then they realized, boy, we can sell them a lot better if we market them better. Now, I have proposed this to a few legislators, and they just don't listen. They act like I'm saying, let's make a proposal where every household has to have 30 sinks in the house and 20 toilets. And they look at me like I'm crazy, or just ignore me like I'm going, they fade out. I'm not gaining any traction. And I've talked to a few House reps and senators over the last decade. Who does this kind of stuff? Concerned citizens do. Not enough people in New Orleans and Louisiana. I said, guys, all seafood that you sell in a store, crawfish, crab meat, crabs, anything that's packaged, there needs to be a label on that package. If it comes from outside of Louisiana, state of origin, country of origin, and the sticker on that package, the font size of product of China, product of Alabama, has to be the same font size of the largest font on the label. So Bernard's with, 2-inch lettering, you can have a label with 2-inch lettering on the side stuck on it or on the bottom, somewhere, not the bottom, the side or the top, that says product of Alabama, product of Florida, product of China, product of Taiwan. And no traction on that, because there is a lobbying group of Louisiana people or folks that benefit from this that make sure that doesn't happen. They want Bernard's crawfish. They want made in China as small as possible where it can't be seen. The smallest legal font size possible. They'd not put it on the bag if they could legally. They'd like to not put it on the bag if they could. And they call stuff Bernard's. They're just trying to sneak it in. They're trying to fool you. And then people either, two things, are getting fooled or want to get fooled, like pretending they're getting fooled. Oh, it's Bernard's. I don't really think, I see made in China, but I think it's called Bernard's. It must be local, right? Maybe just a Chinese company owns it or something, right? It's local. No, I am definitely, like everybody else. I'm special. I'm not trying to wrap the flag around me. I'm a patriot. I'm a capitalist. I mean, who isn't? I don't know anyone that isn't. So, yeah, I'm not for like tariffs, but I'm almost like, we should not allow any shrimp imports, any crawfish imports, any crab meat imports, any oyster. Well, I shouldn't say, because different oysters, different flavors. No one's, and then I guess even shrimp, you might have to have a slight exception, but I don't think. I mean, I would be willing to just say, look, the rock shrimp in Florida, you got to go get them in Florida. The Royal Reds in Florida, you got to wait till you're in Alabama or Florida. I don't even know if rock shrimp from Florida, Royal Reds even are here. I don't think I've ever seen them locally. But those are good. So I get where you could draw a line. There's a fine line on it, like the oysters. Folks like those oysters from, up in Oregon and the East Coast. So I don't want to take away something like that. But I don't think local oyster fishermen are worried about those oysters knocking them out of business, because those oysters are pricey, just like local oysters. They're not cheap. Acy Cooper, president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association, will join us in about 15 minutes on the program. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah, you're right. Stay hydrated. 98 degrees, feels like 109.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Yeah, you, right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson with you. Looks like some thunder showers, which would be a good thing, rolling in from the south as far as I can tell. I didn't look at any radar. Just heard some thunder showers, or excuse me, heard some thunder outside of the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. And actually during that last break, walked out of here and walked outside, making sure I didn't leave my windows of my vehicle cracked. But not raining here, but south, it's dark. Rain clouds, like, you know, we all know what rain clouds look like. They're dark. They're almost black. And then north, a lot lighter clouds, but still just stifling heat. A lot of folks say, and I don't know the deal, when you have like some cloud cover and the sun, it's hotter because the clouds keep the heat down on the Earth's surface instead of it floating up into the atmosphere. You know, hot air rises, whatever. Anyway, it is 98 degrees and it feels like 109 degrees right now. Even with the clouds, 98 feels like 109. So stay out of it. Stay hydrated. At least stay in the shade. Elderly folks that are vulnerable, have health issues, you know them, you can help. Take them to the community center, to the library, to the shopping mall, to your house, out to lunch. Go somewhere that's air conditioned. Because it's 98 and it feels like 109, and that's dangerous for people that have health issues or that are elderly. And yeah, hydrate. Drink lots of water. Cassie Sherm at Channel 6 doing a great job. Yesterday, she reported the Office of Inspector General investigating the Orleans Parish Communications District. Now she says the Office of Inspector General has seized cell phones and computers from the Orleans Parish Communications District. Altered documents by Tyrell Morris, who LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell continues to back like a vappy, just belligerently backs, defiant of all the information, refuses to back down. It isn't like loyalty. It's like something strange going on. The mayor says the NOPD application process is closed. It's done. 27 applicants. This is about the right time. End of June, early July. They're supposed to have it whittled down to a semifinalist list. So this IACP will whittle down that list to a group of semifinalists. I don't know what that number is going to be. 3 to 5, maybe, something like that. Would be shocked if Woodfork is not in that number. We'll see. You know, if she is, and it's legit, folks are going to question it. If she's not, I guess folks are going to say she wasn't qualified in the IACP or wasn't the best candidate, and the IACP looked at it fairly and objectively. No, just, not when you have that type of mayor, Woodfork's always going to have that baggage. Was it legit or not? Anyway, I think she'll be on that semifinalist list. Then the mayor chooses one of those 3 to 5. I'm guessing that'll be the semifinalist. She chooses one. And then the city council has to vote and approve that individual or not. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Young's Dry Cleaning. I was over at their Franklin and Fillmore restoration facility earlier this week. Hall runners, rugs, drapes, linens. Young's Restoration Department will take care of it. They'll come to your house, take down your drapes, bring them to the restoration facility, clean those drapes like brand new, bring them back to your house and rehang them. All you pay for is the cleaning job. The travel to and from your house, the taking them down, putting them back up. Young's does that absolutely free. They'll come to you and pick up your rugs and runners, fine linens. Young's has you covered, their restoration department. And anybody that has something made out of fabric, material, or cloth, delicate, expensive, antique items that maybe suffered water, mold, mildew, smoke damage, Young's Restoration Department might be able to get those things back to like new condition. Let Dale and Don look at it at the Restoration Department, a New Orleans institution since 1940. YoungsDryCleaning.com. YoungsDryCleaning.com. Acy Cooper, president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association, will join us in about 10 minutes on the program. Presidential candidate and former Vice President Mike Pence in Kyiv meeting with Zelenskyy. The war in Ukraine continues. Supreme Court ruling against affirmative action programs at Harvard, a private school, and North Carolina, a public university. Race-based admissions no longer applicable. I think what you're going to see at major colleges and universities, they'll probably become more white, more Asian, less black, less Latino. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us. Ghassan Korban joined us to start the program around 4:20 for about 10 or 15 minutes. We discussed the payroll fraud and the sex room. Says the sex room doesn't exist. Payroll fraud does. It's not happening anymore. You can check that out on YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify in a little while. What's that, Blue Boy? Folks should stick around for Acy Cooper, the president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association, joining us next. What else? A lot more coming your way in the 5 o'clock powwow. Blue Boy? Couldn't have said it better myself.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Ford F-150, number one seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasenbemp Incorporated.
That's right, New Orleans. For you folks expecting Corey Johnson and the Neutral Ground program, we've got quite a surprise for you. We're going back 40 years plus. It's Laverne and Shirley. That's right, that dynamic duo, making funny jokes and laughter from the Milwaukee brewery where they work. Sit back, get your favorite drink, relax. It's reruns of Laverne and Shirley. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson has been canceled, never to be seen again. Mr. Drew Brees. Yes, it is. Ounf, ounf, ounf. It is New Orleans. Thank you, number 9. Corey Johnson back at you. No Laverne and Shirley. You'll have to go to Nick at Night or We TV or whatever. I don't know what it is anymore. Go find it on YouTube. It's the Neutral Ground with yours truly. And it's the 5 o'clock power hour rolling till 6 p.m. on this ridiculously hot June summer afternoon as we fade towards July. 4th of July weekend. Many folks taking Monday and Tuesday off. 98 degrees right now. Feels like 109. 98 degrees. Feels like a $1.09. All I can tell you is mucho agua. Drink lots of water. It's hot out there. Stay hydrated. If you missed the last hour, you missed Ghassan Korban from the Sewage and Water Board joining us, Executive Director. There is no sex room. Payroll fraud, yes, but no sex room. I think that room was probably just like a room for I think that Sewage and Water Board employees went and took a nap. So maybe not a sex room, but a nap room, like George Costanza with the bed under the desk on Seinfeld. Channel 6's Cassie Sherm doing a great job as an investigative reporter. She reported yesterday that the Office of Inspector General was investigating the Orleans Parish Communication District and that joker, Tyrell Morris, Mayor LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell, feels compelled to back this guy, doubling down on Morris like she's doubled down on Vappy. Defending him relentlessly. Cassie Sherm from Channel 6 today reporting the OIG has seized cell phones and computers from the OPCD. The altered documents case. No, it just doesn't matter. Wrecking the vehicle, calling off 911, doesn't take the drug alcohol test, alters documents. The council wants him gone. He's being investigated by the OIG office. LaToya Cantrell just doubling down, just her typical belligerent attitude, hell-bent on hitting the accelerator while going in the wrong direction. Typical. Not surprising, not mind-blowing, not I'm shocked. Typical. What you should expect. The right thing, the normal thing, 86 in this cat, that would be the exception. Supreme Court ruling against affirmative action programs at Harvard, a private school, and North Carolina, a public university. Race-based admission, apparently a thing of the past. Presidential candidate, former VP Mike Pence meeting with Zelenskyy in Kyiv in Ukraine.
Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah, you right. It's hot out there. River City's Total Maintenance will take care of you. Your air conditioning experts, honest, AC experts that come immediately. If you're having air conditioning problems in this heat, you want it fixed yesterday. Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys are there. River City's Total Maintenance. Find them at NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto, River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Got a good guest joining me on the program. Acy Cooper is the president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association. Acy, how are you?
I'm doing great. If we can beat this heat, we'll be good.
If you can beat this heat and this war on Louisiana shrimp, it seems like, huh?
Yeah, it's been a war, man. It's getting worse by the day. It's just unbelievable how they let a billion-dollar industry just fade away and not have no concern about it.
No, it's a billion-dollar industry. It's a local product. It's local people, and it's a superior product. That's what burns me up.
Correct. Yeah. You're talking about American people working, and you get American product, and like you said, it's superior overall. It's the cleanest seafood you're going to eat in the world.
Acy, I'm at this place, Joe Patty's in Pensacola, this seafood purveyor. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I'm in there, and Frank Patty, this old man, like 80, Joe's brother, running the place. Just walk up to him, and I'm like, ask him a couple of questions, just general stuff. I'm like, man, where are the best shrimp? Who's got the best shrimp? He goes, those come off of Grand Isle, Louisiana, off the coast of Louisiana. I mean, that's what he said, this guy in Florida. So, no, our seafood, we might live in the number one spot in the world for seafood, huh, Acy?
Oh, it is number one. We're only second to Alaska on production of seafood.
But I'm talking human beings being able to eat it, high quality, the options. Alaska doesn't have the variety we've got in the quality.
Oh, yeah, you're superior overall right here. If you want to eat seafood, this is the place.
Yep.
There's no two ways about it.
And when I say Louisiana shrimp are under attack, what is it? Shrimp coming in from other states, but primarily shrimp coming in from other countries, right?
Correct. Well, it's not so much the domestic industry. We got to support the domestic industry on the East Coast and the West Coast. I mean, the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico. But the problem is what they're bringing in from overseas. India, Indonesia, Thailand, just all these. And look, India is one of the dirtiest countries they have, and yet they're allowing this stuff to come in. It's proven fact that the testing done. John Hopkins did a study in 2011, said it was unfit for human consumption. And then they repeated the study in 2020, and they just mimicked what he said in 2011. That is, it's unfit for human consumption. And yet we still feed it to the American public.
Well, it's a it's a super small percentage of this imported seafood that's even looked at or tested, right?
Oh, it's less than, they say 2%, but it's way less than 1%. And then that 1%, 400% of it, it's found with residues from veterinary antibiotics and steroids and you name it, it's in it.
No, it's frightening. I never touch any of that stuff, only eat Louisiana seafood unless it's Maine lobster or something else like that. Acy, I'm not like some kind of communist or something, but I almost feel like we need to ban imports of just a few things like shrimp, or crawfish, and crab meat. I mean, I don't know, like oysters, like folks like oysters from Portland or Oregon or from the East Coast. So I think that's a different thing. I mean, if there's some great shrimp like that someone wants, I'm not against bringing that in. I don't know if it's like a Florida rock shrimp or Royal Red or something like that. I don't see any of those in Louisiana because of our shrimp, but I just think we need some kind of ban or tariff or something because getting flooded by inferior, dangerous products from a lot of these Asian countries, even India, as you said, it's crippling the industry.
Yeah, well, we only consume 1.5, 1.6 billion in the country, and they're allowing before last was around 2 billion. This past year was 1.8 billion. So they're bringing in more than we can consume. And you know what happens when they do that? They undercut, they're driving the prices down, they're fighting for market shares amongst them countries, amongst themselves. And when they do that, then the end result is that they selling here so cheap that our shrimp is just not worth nothing because of the fact they just flooding us. That's how they make their money. They just flood it with so many shrimp, and that's where they come out at. That's where all the money's at.
Acy, let's just kind of give people an idea. I mean, crawfish are easy. They come by the pound. Shrimp are by the pound, but it's, a count too. What would be like Correct. An average shrimp and an average, what we say, like 25, something like that, a 30?
Yeah, well, they start at the U10s, we call them, which is 0 to 1 pound.
Yeah, those are like shrimp you use for like barbecue shrimp.
Barbecue, correct.
Yeah.
10 15s and 16 20s and 21. It's about 5 to count. So the 16 20s, it's got 16 or 20 shrimp to a pound.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's just say 20. Let's just say 20. What does a pound of 20 count shrimp cost?
Well, we selling them out right now. We have to pedal and we sell them for $3. But if we go to the dock like we normally do, when we catch a lot of shrimp, then it's only $1.25. We used to get $4. Beginning of last year, was getting $4 a pound for this same shrimp.
And then what's the general retail price? Like doubling that?
Yeah, we sell it at $3 a pound. We keep it level at $3. It's 16 20s or 10 15s. We still sell them at $3. Everything's at $3. All the big shrimp. Now the smaller shrimp, they go down in the price as it goes.
Now, where does shrimp need to be for Acy Cooper and other shrimpers in Louisiana to make a decent living? Not just get by and not be rich. Just make a decent living where it's worth doing it as a job. Where do the shrimp price need to be?
If they give me the prices I got in the 80s, I'd be satisfied.
In the 1980s?
I would be satisfied.
What was
That's
that?
how bad it is. And it was 1620s was about $2.50 a pound. 80 herons was $1 a pound. So everything I caught, I got $1 a pound no matter what. For us to get by, the price of fuel, insurance, cost of boats, cost of equipment, we have to at least get $1 to $3 a pound for our shrimp, depending on the size.
Gotcha.
And we can't even get $1 for the largest one we catch now, right at $1.20.
Acy, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, tell us the solution to the problem. Acy Cooper's with us, president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Drink lots of water. It's 98 degrees out there. Feels like 109.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. when you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Thursday afternoon, 5 o'clock power hour. Corey Johnson with you. We're talking seafood. How about Trey Yen in Mandeville? You know, Trey Yen in Mandeville, some of the best Chinese cuisine in America. And I'm telling you, one of the best seafood restaurants in New Orleans. The 5 Wong brothers, when they got here 50 plus years ago, they embraced our seafood bounty. Fresh speckled trout, fresh flounder, crawfish, shrimp, crabs, oysters. You won't be disappointed. Trey Yen in Mandeville, so good. Acy Cooper, the president of the Louisiana Shrimp Association's with us. Acy, I don't know if I want to go down the path. I haven't definitively said ban imports and do this, put huge tariffs. I'm a capitalist like you, and I don't want to create that monster, have to maintain it. I don't know what it's going to lead to, what the repercussions are. But I want to see a thriving Louisiana shrimp industry. One reason for Louisiana, too, selfishly, I love Louisiana shrimp. Don't want to see it go away.
That's it. You know, we don't want to see it go away. You know, we taught generations, and, you know, it's a long list of fathers and teaching kids and going down the line.
Yep.
You know, 5 generations, 4 or 5 generations, and we don't want to lose this. And it's a damn shame that they doing this. You know, these restaurants and all are selling shrimp on the backs of our fishermen and misleading the people thinking they selling them Louisiana shrimp, and they're really selling imports. So, you know, the restaurant bill that we passed, it doesn't have any meat to it yet. We just try to put amendment to it to try to get it.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. What happened to the law where all restaurants have to have, you stated where the seafood comes? That shrimp po' boy you're getting, our shrimper from China, our shrimper from Barataria Bay. I mean, it needs to be known. That's a problem. These Bernard's crawfish, you know, these labels from China that have like a Cajun name, all this fraud, manipulation, deceit, not exposed, but just labels that say product of China, big, bold, large font, clear for everyone to see. And the stuff you talked about, John Hopkins' study from 2011 says this stuff's not fit to eat. Just letting you know. I mean, we should be pushing that, you know?
Yes, exactly. You know, we just tell them, like, look, the consumer needs to they have the right to know what they're eating.
Yep.
Put it on the menu. Do the right thing.
Yep.
It took us 20 years to pass the legislation, and we didn't put no law, no fines behind it because we didn't think it was even going to pass.
Acy, explain to me how a restaurant can serve Louisiana redfish.
Yeah, well, we're not allowed to catch redfish in Louisiana.
Exactly. It's a Texas farm-raised fish. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. If when you want to eat it and serve it, that's great. I'm sure it's good in some places. I'm just saying, at least tell you what it is.
Label it for what it is, and that's what we say. You know, we're not telling you not to sell it, but we're telling you if you do sell it, at least give the consumer or your consumer a right to know where it comes from and where it is.
Now,
let them make a decision themselves.
Yep. I'm going to start the question over again because I interjected so much.
Yeah.
If someone asked you, what's the solution to this war on the Louisiana shrimp, what would your answer be? And don't worry about being redundant if what you're saying is what we just said a second ago.
Right. Well, let me tell you. First thing, we've been going to Washington since 2002 and beyond that. Asking for a cap on it, put it where it's a level playing field. If you bring in too many, then that leaves no room for us. But if you look at what the domestic industry catches and they bring that level down to that level and give us enough room to where we can sell our product, we would be okay. You know, we're not telling you not to do it. That is, it's all bad, because it may be good for them, whoever wants to eat it, but not us Louisianans. But at least bring it to where we have a little playing field so we can make an honest living. We don't want. This is what we do. We don't want to lose our way of life and the culture in Louisiana because you're greedy and you want to mislead people on what they're eating and with the health effects. By 2050, it says that antibiotics resistance is going to overcome cancer. And everything you eat with seafood has antibiotics in it because they're trying to raise so many and so fast in these ponds that they have to throw steroids to make them grow. They have to throw antibiotics to keep them healthy. So you eating this stuff.
Yep.
It's really going to come back to haunt you later on in life.
No, it's true. That's 100% true. Everything you're saying is true. People are ignorant, look the other way, think they're not eating it enough. It's so infrequent. It's not going to affect them. You're right.
That's right.
It's going to build up over time. It's not right. So the number one thing, Acy, it isn't about tariffs or bans and extreme stuff that I was even talking about. It's just a cap on the imports, limiting how much shrimp from foreign countries can come into the United States of America?
And let me tell you, if they do the testing and test it right and take the ones that's bad out, we'd be fine. But the government is just not doing their job. If the federal government can't do their job and protect the American people, then our state has to step up. I'm waiting for a meeting with the governor now because I'm chair of Louisiana Shrimp Task Force. I requested a meeting about 2 months ago. I haven't got it yet, but I'm waiting on it now. As soon as that occurs, we are going to go straight to him and ask him to stop it here in Louisiana until we get enough testing done. We're fixing to throw some money into testing because Timmy Kerner passed legislation last year that once we test it, then if it's bad, we better destroy it. The federal government gives it back. So we don't want you to give it back to them. We want you to take it out of the system and take it out. So the only way to make sure they don't bring that stuff in here that's bad is that they know we're taking it out and destroying it. They might think twice about sending it here.
Yep.
And then the consumer have a chance that he might get something half as good. Excuse my language.
No, it's all right.
Good.
No, you're right.
It's frustrating the way the state looks at this industry because if you was a $1 billion company coming in, you throw all kind of tax deduction, you do whatever you can, and it may only be 30 jobs. But we have over 15,000 jobs that we're talking about.
Yep.
And beyond that, it could be even more than that.
Yep.
But yet you're not even looking at that. All these rural communities on this coast, we all depend on that. Why would I want to live in a hurricane-prone area if I have no reason to? This is why we live there.
Yeah, our culture. Yep.
It's our culture. It's what we do.
Yep.
So you're taking a lot of people come to Louisiana, eat Louisiana seafood, our music, our heritage, and you're throwing a lot of that away right here. You're about to throw half of it away. Where they going to come? Just for the music?
No, and
be lied to?
No, and
where the shrimp come from?
No, and it burns me up because we're not talking about just like saving a shrimp industry and these shrimp are okay and they're like a bunch of other shrimp from other states and other countries. These are the best shrimp in the world.
The best. And it's undisputed. We heavily tested. They know what's in ours. We stay. That's one thing that we do here in Louisiana. Our product is well tested, well maintained. We take care of it because we believe in what we do.
Yep. No, those are two great points, Acy. Cap on imports, and at least initially, you wouldn't even need a cap on imports if testing was up to snuff. It would limit the imports naturally. And then I'm sure these foreign countries would clean up their acts over time. And then by that time, you could put a cap on imports if they started sending in shrimp that passed testing but started flooding the market to drive down the price like you mentioned.
And then the problem is they don't taste like our shrimp. Our shrimp has the best flavor.
Of course.
You can bring in all you want. It's not going to be like your fresh caught Louisiana shrimp.
No, I mean that's everybody knows that. We have brackish, freshwater, saltwater. So we have all kind of different creatures. Some of them can handle both a little bit. You have these shrimp going through this cycle, going out in the Gulf, coming into the bays, circulating around. They're eating all kind of stuff that adds to the flavor, how they taste. Some dude digging a hole in China and having a truck spew chemicals and crap into a pond and growing shrimp in 10% of the time. And you're expecting some kind of, unique texture, flavor, you're delusional.
Yeah, and the chemicals they use in it's unbelievable.
Well, it's like you said, it's like the chicken industry. I like a chicken, ideally a free range chicken, but I like this no antibiotics and air chilled, where they're the any kind of disease is killed because of the cold on the chicken, not dipped in a chlorine bath and not full of antibiotics their whole life, because like you were saying, they're diseased.
That's right. Exactly. That's what you want. You look for things like that because, like I said earlier, it's not a matter that's going to happen tomorrow. It's over time. It's going to catch up with you. And that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
It's going to catch up over time. And if your antibiotics, if you have a problem and your antibiotics you take, and if you take too much of this, then you become antibiotic resistant, there's nothing going to help you.
You're done. You're right.
There's nothing going to help you.
So any other ideas that you guys talk about besides the cap on imports, the limits, and testing? Is there anything else, Acy?
Yeah, we just want to make sure that people understand that when they go in a restaurant, they have the right to know. Ask where it comes from. If they tell you from the go, make sure you tell them you want to see the box. They have to tell you exactly where it's from. They can't lie to you. Hey, you need to know, and don't be afraid to ask. I went to this one sports bar, and he's well known in New Orleans. I'm not going to say no name. I asked him, where does shrimp come from? Oh, it come from the Gulf. I said, let me see where it's at. Go get the manager. The manager come over, they come from the Gulf. So the Gulf of Mexico, but it comes out of Mexico. Well, see, it's so misleading. So that's imported shrimp from Mexico.
That's right. No, that needs to have a big label with a big font size saying product of Mexico.
That's right. List it, at least tell the people what it is.
Now, you could call it Bernard's, Landry's. You can call it Super Cajun. I don't care what you call it, but just there better be a label that I can clearly see. I don't have to go to the back and look. It's right there.
Right.
Biggest font size equal to the largest font size on that product. If it's 2 inches tall that says Landry's, I want 2 inches tall that says product of China.
Yeah, because if you don't, you have to go on the back of the bag. When
you can't find it.
And you have to look very closely on the back of the bag. It's got a small fine print. It's labeled the label of origin, and it will tell you where it comes from. And most of it now is coming from Indonesia and Thailand.
Well, I will say this, Acy. Restaurants need a little more discipline on that. The law needs to be enforced. I do notice I go to like Rouse's or I go to Langenstein's or something. They've got a little sign that'll say where those shrimp were caught, where they come from, then
right.
I like that. I mean, I see something that says Taiwan. I see something that says fresh local. I mean, come on.
Right. Oh, yeah. You need to know where it comes from, and don't be ashamed to ask because they have to tell you.
So those are the 3 big things: testing, cap on imports, and right to know where it comes from.
Correct. That's the main things. And we're going to ask the governor to do the same and give us a hand with this and see where we come out. And hopefully it comes out well. So we have a lot of things moving right now. So we just have to see what happens within the next couple of months because right now the industry's shut down. We can't even always sell shrimp. We can't sell at the dock. We have to retail everything we catch, and that's very hard to do.
No, and there's nothing that you guys are asking that's insane or not reasonable. I mean, testing, that's to safeguard the community. Cap on imports, that's so a foreign country doesn't falsely drive down the price of a product and, knock out jobs in America. And then right to know where it came from? Why would a citizen not want to know where it came from?
Right. Well, why would they not want to tell you? That is the question.
Well, that's why, Acy, because it's from China.
Well, it's about greed and money.
That's right.
That's what it's all about. The country thinks they go into these foreign countries and they're helping the people and they buy these products and help them get started. But then yet the government gets all the money and the poor people living in slave houses and they can't leave the place. If you go research it, man, just go Google it. Dirty shrimp farms in Asia, and you'll be freaked out.
Oh no, you will. You're right. It's sickening. You're 100% right. Any final thoughts, Acy?
Yeah, man. You want shrimp? Go to the coast, find some local fisherman, and buy straight from him, and you're getting the right thing. And you're helping the industry out. You're helping them raise their kids and take care of their families. And, you know, all we want to do is make a living and have our way in life. Nobody's going to get rich at this business. You know, my father did it till he was 85 years old. And, you know, nobody gets rich. We just live and live day to day and do like everybody else, just try to make a living and survive.
Yep.
So if you need good shrimp, find a good fisherman somewhere and start getting them from the coast.
No, it's a great suggestion, and hopefully that's your ace, no pun intended, your ace in the hole, and you got that cat all the time. Everyone wins. Local
That's
fresh
right.
shrimp, the best in the world. No, that's a no-brainer. Acy Cooper, a pleasure, man. Hey, how can folks find out more about the Louisiana Shrimp Association and the plight of the Louisiana shrimpers? Is there a website or something?
Yep, we have a website, LouisianaShrimp.org, I believe it is, .com.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly which. You have a couple of them, but Louisiana Shrimp. Google Louisiana Shrimp organization, and you'll find us.
Yep. Acy Cooper, thank you.
Thank you, man. Anytime. Yeah, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate getting awareness out there for us, because that's something that we really need. We need the people to really understand what's going on and what they're eating.
No doubt. My pleasure. Let's do it again soon.
Yes, give me a call. Thank y'all.
Yep. That's Acy Cooper. Everything he said was reasonable. The last part, let people know what they're eating. Jeez and Pete's. You deserve the right to know where it came from. You deserve to know if it's clean or not. And then, a cap on the imports is just, we don't want some foreign country like flooding America with steel and lowering the price where it knocks out our steel industry. It's like any industry. Got to protect the local industry, especially when these countries are doing it artificially. We will take a loss for X amount of time to drive that industry in America out of business, and then we'll slowly but surely start raising our prices, and we'll be the only place to go, and we'll start making a profit, and we'll own and control the industry. No, I get it. I understand, less price for a product. I just not built that way, I'd rather not have the $3,000 Louis Vuitton purse than buy the fake one for my wife. If I can scrounge the money together and get her the $3,000 Louis Vuitton authentic purse, the one she wants, the lifetime purchase, that's what I'm going to get her. I'm not going to get her the $200 fake one. She knows it's fake. I know it's fake. I don't understand the point of that. I don't understand the point of that. Get the real deal, the authentic thing. If it's too expensive, don't get it. I want a 911. I want a Porsche. My whole life, I want a 911. I can't afford the tires or the oil change on the damn 911. So I'm not getting a 911. Can't afford $1,000 tires. Can't afford a $500 oil change. So I don't own a 911. I want one. I guess some people go and buy the kit car, they get the DeLorean looking vehicle. Looks fast, but has some Peugeot engine in it, Just, I don't. I want the real thing. And when the real thing is local and it's superior and it's better and everyone wins and it's just a little bit more money, my God, it is a no-brainer. I'm loyal to the state. I'm loyal to the citizens. I'm loyal to the superior product. If Louisiana shrimp were bad, they weren't good. They were toxic. The Chinese imports were what Louisiana shrimp are, just perfect, fresh, local, tender, just awesome. I'd be eating the Chinese tails and not the local ones. And I wouldn't be having Acy Cooper on and, listening to him. But his fight is right. The plight is real. And those 3 points he made, testing, cap on imports, and right to know where it came from, there's nothing that's not reasonable about that. All three things. I mean, I was going off the, charts with tariffs potentially, banning imports, things like that. This has nothing to do. It's a cap on imports because they're trying to hurt America more than just the shrimp industry. Testing so we know what we're eating, for crying out loud. And simply the right to know where it's from. Hey, Leidenheimer French bread, what an amazing story. since 1896 in New Orleans. Leidenheimer Baking Company. Leidenheimer French bread, over 125 years, 5 generations, family owned and operated. They're still baking that Leidenheimer French bread in New Orleans. And you know what? Speaking of importing, exporting, Leidenheimer sends a lot of their bread all around the country. I forgot what Sandy Wan told me over there at Leidenheimer. I want to say it's about 20 or 25 states that now have Leidenheimer French bread. Some major food distributors, they're distributing Leidenheimer French bread. Locally, served in the city's finest restaurant. That great po' boy, I said great po' boy you eat. You know it's served on Leidenheimer French bread. Good to the last crumb, Leidenheimer French bread.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Women are often throwing clothing items at me, saying you're the possessor of the cool factor. I have to fight off the ladies.
90 minutes of fun every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Did you have any problem with Angel Reese? There was a photo of her coming off the bus, holding the phone with the...
And that was a bunch of bull. That was Photoshop, that young lady. That's social media for you. How dare somebody do that?
No, I was wondering if it was Photoshopped or if it was real.
You just got the real answer from somebody who was there.
It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
Producing tomorrow's radio shows today. It's like going back in time, a time machine. Why, when anyone... if a time machine's ever brought up, it's always about betting. I'll go back and find out the games, who won, and then I'm come back or go back in time and make the bet and become rich. It's never about like, man, want to go see cultures or any of that. And then, is there anyone on the planet besides a white male that wants to go back in time? Any other group? I mean, seriously, outside of the white male, is there any other group that wants to go back in time? Women? Yes, let me go back where I was subservient and couldn't vote and didn't have a word, wasn't respected. Black folks? Yeah, I want to go back to slavery times. Fantastic. Asian, Latino? I mean, I don't know. I think the only person that wants to go back in time would be a white person. They could pop up somewhere and it'd probably just be all right. Everybody else? I don't know anyone else who wants to go back in time. Oh, boy. Keep going, Corey. You'll probably dig a hole for yourself. You can't get out. That's one thing, I swear, even in 2023. Do you think for a minute I worry about like political correctness or worry about, seriously, saying something that I could lose my job? It could wreck my career. Am I aware that people have said things? One thing that has wrecked 20, 30, 40 years of their career, you bet. But I'm never on air in any kind of altered state, either by, if I was feeling weird, I wouldn't go on. I've never felt weird where I didn't go on. Never come on where I'm under some kind of, other thing, drinking, drugs, something going on the air. So I'm never worried about being less than 100% kind. I mean, I may have off days. I'm not saying that. I stumble and bumble through stuff. Man, the brain's not working right. I can't speak today, whatever. But I never come in impaired where, this drunk Corey's going to pull a Jimmy the Greek, And coupled with, I don't think like that. Like, I'm not homophobic or racist or sexist or any of that. Luckily, raised right. And I feel that I do my research and I kind of feel that I have reasonable, rational, you may not always agree, but none of it's like crazy talk. I'm not trying to incite. There's enough natural stuff out there, topics galore. I don't have to make them up or take some extreme view. So I'm truthful. I'm honest. I was raised right. I think I have ethics and morals and integrity. I love New Orleans. I love Louisiana. I never worry about coming on the radio and saying something that I truly feel, and it might not be politically correct, and it could hurt my, job, or I could lose my job. Never, ever, ever worry about that. No, I'm blessed. I've never been sued. I've never sued anyone. I've been in this job for 30 plus years. I'm not a lightweight. I'm not some former FM disc jockey that's uninformed. I think I'm pretty informed. When I'm talking about a topic, I think I know what I'm talking about. Generally speaking, I at least have knowledge on it. You may disagree. And I go there. I'm not scared to go there. I'm not beholden to anyone except you. Don't have a boss telling me what to do or say. I produce my show. I come up with the topics. I say whatever I want. No one is pulling my strings. So I don't, even in today's age of sensitivity and hyper wokeness and all that, I never worry about being canceled, political correctness. Never, ever. I don't think I'll ever get knocked off the air for something I say because it was not that I think people would say Corey says a lot of things that aren't politically correct. The hyper woke, the extreme right, they probably hear some things I say that they don't agree with, that they think are caustic. I've had people call clients, advertisers, and say, how can you advertise on Corey's show? He said this. And I've never, ever lost a single advertiser because of it. I remember, it was like a decade or so ago, more than that. It was during the year that Sean Payton sat out. ESPN comes to New Orleans. They're trying to get some local sportscaster to discuss it. Now, I'm not even doing sports at that point, just like I do today, just a little bit. ESPN probably went to 4, 6, 8, 26, Times-Picayune, all these other outlets, and not one single New Orleanian wanted to go on the record with ESPN. I'm assuming to talk about Sean Payton and Bounty Gate or any of that stuff. Not one. Or maybe they came to town and like, man, we think Corey's the best guy. Let's go to him first. I don't think so. All right, I'm telling you that. So I think they went through a bunch of folks first, and then finally, with me, they had someone that was willing to discuss it. And I went on, and it was a ESPN segment or series. It might have been a couple of nights in a row. And they were using me and a bunch of my quotes in the interview. And I'll tell you exactly what I was like. I was like, Sean Payton is just a hyper competitor, just wants to win. He's relentless. That's why Saints fans love him. Just won a Super Bowl. He wants to win. He is cutthroat. He will take out a knife and cut your throat. But I also think because of that competitive nature, that cockiness, that arrogance, that lulled him into the Bountygate situation. And I think what made it worse was that Ornstein guy, that kind of blackballed by the NFL, that Payton sort of embraced, the email trail of them back and forth, the NFL having access eventually to those emails. I'm sure there was a lot of, these are personal emails between Payton and Ornstein, a guy who's blackballed from the NFL. If you don't think Payton and Ornstein were saying disparaging things about Goodell, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it's their personal emails that were exposed to the NFL. That just exacerbated things. Tom Benson made a major blunder during that Bountygate. He told the NFL requested certain things. He was like, come in and look at all our computers, look at everything, all our emails. I mean, when the IRS audits you and they say, we want 2017 and 2018, give them 2017 and 2018. Don't give them, hey, here's 15, 14, 13, and 12 too. Just give them what they asked for. Tom Benson went overboard, gave them more than they asked for. They found a bunch of other information. The point is, I was like, yeah, ESPN, you want to talk about it? I'll talk about it. I'm not here to disparage Sean Payton, and I'm not here to kiss Sean Payton's rear end. Now, if anything, I'm going to be biased more on the latter than the former. I'm a New Orleanian, Saints fan off the air, like Sean Payton as a coach and a competitor. Know he's a winner, brought us a Super Bowl. Wish he wouldn't have left. So, that's all later. But during that time, I mean, if anything, I had to worry about being biased pro Sean Payton, pro Saints. Anyway, a lot of folks called different advertisers. And some of them are still with me to this day. 13, 14 years later. Were with me years before that. No, I'm fortunate. No, folks called these advertisers and said, I'm not coming to your restaurant. I'm not going to come to your business if you keep having this Corey Johnson guy advertise for you. Why? He went on ESPN. I didn't like what he said about the Saints and Sean Payton. And I remember getting a call from one of my clients telling me exactly that. And I never once for a minute thought, oh my God, I might be losing this client. Oh gosh, is this a call to say they're terminated? I was just listening to what they were saying. And then I said, okay. And what's that mean? And they were just like, they started laughing and said, nothing. We're not pulling our advertisement with you. Just thought you'd want to know. So no, I'm that's just like one example. I'm not scared to tell it like it is each and every day. I'm beholden to no one. There's no boss telling me what to do. I mean, I've worked down the dial at several outlets. Boss is telling you what to do. Don't alienate. Don't talk about that topic because we have these two advertisers that like that thing that you're bashing and we don't want to alienate them. Just do another topic. Don't talk about that today. None of that. None of that. So, yeah, I don't worry too much about political correctness. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday because I'm not doing anything wrong. It's a righteous show. You might disagree. Opinions disagreeing. That's just part of America. That's normal, human nature. But something that's going to get me canceled, it'll never happen. Best quality, best price, best selection. They're in your neighborhood. I'm talking about Rouse's Markets. I got 3 Rouse's less than 10 minutes from my house. And that Rouse's on Ferret in between Jefferson and Napoleon. Ferret at Valence, that's about 6 minutes from my house. 4 Rouse's less than 10 minutes from my door. The same thing probably applies to you. Tastes like home, your neighborhood Rouse's Market. They got everything. What's that, buddy? Including dog food and treats, you're right. And human food that you like to eat as well. Blue Boy, you're right on the money. What's that? Thank Jason and thank the listening and viewing audience. We'll see you tomorrow, Fantasy Friday, 4 p.m.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.